It's the Luna Show.
And now with your host.
Hey Luna,
Hello.
how are you?
Good.
This is the 200th episode of the Luna Show.
Yeah. And who else but me to do the 200th? Actually, somebody from sent me a little message saying, "Why don't you be, your 200 show?" So that's what actually gave me the idea. So
As you should, because we've never gotten into learning, Luna's legacy and his history in the ballroom scene.
I'm actually a little nervous though. Go ahead. I always feel weird in front of the camera, but
Why?
I have no clue.
But you're beautiful. You're like a model. You're one of our only butch queen face legends in the scene. Who would have thought you would be shy?
I am a little shy though, but go ahead.
Okay, well, I have a few questions that we want to ask to find out who Luna is.
Mhm.
So first question, how did you get involved in the ballroom scene?
I started, what actually got me involved was going to the Village. Every gay young person goes to the Village, the pier back then. It was 1988, and I remember that everybody was talking about houses and houses, and I was clueless to what houses were. And I remember that everybody hung out in their little, cliques. So you had like Pendovises and you had La Beijas and all the houses had their little cliques. And I remember that the Pendovises right away, was sort of, they took me in as part of their clique. And so I remember the day I met Avis Pendovis. It was December 5th, 1988. I'll never forget that because it actually changed my life meeting her. And the first thing she said when I walked in the house was that she fell in love with my smile. And so I've been in the scene since 1988 as a House of Pendovis member.
So speaking of, the houses that you've been in, that brings me to my next question. What houses have you been in the scene, and from what year to what year?
Wow. Okay, well, I was a Pendovis from 88 until Avis Pendovis died around 95. Then I was in the House of Latex because I felt after Avis passing away and a lot of the luminaries that died in the ballroom scene, I felt like I needed to give something back. And so I joined the House of Latex to give back. I think I was there for a good year or two. Then, at the time, the House of Extravaganza was really friendly with the House of Latex. And so I kind of became more involved with the House of Extravaganza. So then I became an Extravaganza.
In what year?
I would say that was around 97. I was walking Butch Queen Face then. Prior to that, I was walking drags categories under the House of Pendovis. So I was doing drags runway and drags face. I did start with Schoolboy, but back then Schoolboy was a book bag and an apple and a couple of books in your hands. So I did that one time. So I was a Schoolboy, then a drag. Then it became easy and less expensive to be a Butch Queen Face. Because, at that time it was Butch Queen Face was unpainted. And so so that's what I was doing. That's what I became legendary for. I joined from Extravaganza. I went to Blahnik, and then from Blahnik to Con. Then I opened Legacy. And that was just, I wanted to see what I could do with that. We all want to do and expand and do other things. And so Legacy was part of that project. And then I went back to Con because I love Con.
What year did you first become a con?
2003. I was actually Mother Con in 2003, won Mother of the Year in 2004.
Was that your first position?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, well, yeah, basically. I was going to say something, but never mind.
And what positions did you...
I wanted positions before Con, but, houses sometimes don't want to see you grow and develop. I felt like, I wasn't legendary yet, but I was, going up to that, I was getting there. And so I felt like I could have been in the house prior to that. I could have been a father or a mother in that house. But Con gave me the opportunity, and I love it, so...
So after 2004 being Mother Con in that year, what position did you move on to uphold in your career after?
Oh, Father Con, you mean? Like in the scene?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Well, I went from Mother Con to then being an overall mother and founder of a house, the House of Legacy International. And then I went back to being an overall father con, which is what I am now. So I went from mother to overall mother to overall father. And being an overall father, I actually like the mother role because I'm a Cancer, and Cancers are very maternal and motherly and loving. And the father's usually a little bit more aggressive. And I don't have an aggressive bone in my body. I'm one of those people that I'd rather talk about a situation and help a young person versus, yelling and acting like the way fathers usually tend to act. So, but, being a father is just as great, so.
So you mentioned walking other categories before walking Butch Queen Face. What categories have you walked or covered in the ballroom scene altogether?
Well, my dream category is runway. I did it as a drag, and that was fun back then. That was in the 90s. And a lot of people don't know that was me. That's why it became kind of controversial when everybody was talking about Luna should be legendary and up and coming icon soon, hopefully one day, because it's been over 20 years. I think that what happened was people were confused that they didn't know that I was that drag person. So when I was started to walk Butch Queen Face, they thought that I had just joined the scene and I was like this new boy in the scene. And I also recall when I was even in the House of Blahnik, which was like 99, 2000, 2001, and that time, people thought that I was this new face kid. And I wasn't. I had already been in the scene probably over 10 years by that time, So that's what the controversy of my status and who I am, because I was a drag most of the time in the ball, and people didn't know that that's who I was. And because I tend to stick to myself and the people that I know, that people didn't know that was me. So they couldn't make the connection, so.
So you had your era of walking your drags categories and an era of being...
That's actually funny when I think about it now. Well, drags was fun. Drags is... I like categories where I could be someone else. And that's why I always have fun when I walk the Butch Queen Face categories and they're asking for something. Like when I did the Egyptian thing and when I did the Club Kid thing, I like being someone else. It's almost an extension of who I am. I am this fun... in a way, I'm a secret actor. I want to be an actor in my head. So this is... The ballroom scene sort of fulfills that fantasy of...
Because you portray characters.
Yeah, and I portrayed those characters perfectly. I felt like I looked like an Egyptian pharaoh. And I'm Puerto Rican. So, so I did that well, I feel.
Besides runway and face...
Prize, Luna Call.
Besides runway and face, are there any other categories that you've ever wanted to try out? Like best dress or anything?
I did enjoy doing the drags runway, so it would be fun to do the Butch Queen runway. And I know when I play around with the kids at like Vogue nights or something like that, I know that even Selvin says, "Ooh, you getting ready?" And in a way, it would be fun to walk Butch Queen runway one day. So you may see me surprisingly somewhere at a ball.
So
doing that. Because Butch Queen Face has gotten so old now. Like I did my thing. You're getting older, so things change. Features change. You can't be lovely forever. I'm holding up on a little bit too. I'm almost 40. I'm not gonna be.
Are you serious?
I'm not gonna be Butch Queen Face at 50. You know what I mean? Like, so what else am I gonna do but do maybe like other things in the scene?
I would not have guessed that you were almost 40.
Oh, girl. Yeah. Almost.
So you're one of the pioneers for face of performance. Have you ever thought about voguing, Vogue Femme or Old Way?
Well, pioneers.
Of face of performance.
Well, I enjoyed doing it. I did it several times. I wouldn't say I was a pioneer to it. I did enjoy it when I did it. I did when before. I actually never been chopped. Chopped. I've had a successful ballroom career in the sense that every time I walked, I got through, and I was always the last battle in most of them. And then I got, my life in the late 90s and early millennium,
Have you ever thought about Vogue Femme or anything from stretching on?
No, but I actually saw a video of me walking face for performance, with performance, and I was doing Vogue Femme while I was doing, say I had a cocktail. Once in a while you like a cocktail at a ball. So I felt the beat, it was fab. It was at the lab, I think. And I just felt it, and I felt like I was a Vogue fan. I felt like Pony when I was doing it. Like, I really was voguing, like Vogue Femme. And usually you don't, use Vogue Femme for face of performance. You kind of give the classic pose, and it's all up here. So,
very
but
Madonna
it was
Vogue.
a kicky. But I have fun, so that's what ballroom is for me now. It's fun, right?
And that brings me to my next question. What intrigues you about the scene and what motivates you?
Young people. Young people motivate me. They're the reason why I'm still in the scene. There's always a new generation of kids coming behind, and I always felt that, you know, I want to be there for them. I want to be able to like guide them and love them and give them, support and love and all of that. Like it's young people keep me here. Plus, ballroom is fascinating to me because it has such a big New York City history. It's history. Like ballroom is an old LGBT experience. And the fact that we're still doing it today, I think is fab. And to be a part of that is what's beautiful, you know?
You're one of the only legends that's open about your HIV positive status, and you have been for years. How did the ballroom or ballroom scene people act to you when you first started being open about your HIV status? And how is that different from back then to how people are open about it and how they react to you now?
I think people, I don't know. I remember when I first started to say it, people would just point and say, that's the child, that's the girl with, the kitty and all of this stuff. And I paid all of that. I think after being with Avis and dealing with all of that in the House of Pendarvis and then later with the House of Latex, I learned to sort of just like process things and give information back in a different way. So people's reactions were always in the beginning a little bit negative because people didn't want to be associated with somebody who was at that time. And, I would, give it back to them, but in a educational way. And so I think a lot of people respect me because I've been so open and I've been so, open for people to come up to me and ask me questions about HIV and AIDS and how to live with it. Because not surprising, a lot of us in the scene have it, and we've lost a lot of people in the ballroom scene to HIV and AIDS. So it's not like a secret. It's so. I wish more people were open about it. I think things would be a little bit different. I think if more were open, then more people would be, if more icons and legends and just overall anybody in the scene would be open about it, I think the numbers maybe would be different because then the respect and the knowledge would be different, because young people look at us and if we're carrying and being messy, then they're going to imitate what we're doing. But if you're educating people and giving them messages, then maybe they'll process becoming infected in a different way, if that makes any sense.
It does, and you've been a big influence on education, especially when it comes to HIV prevention. So we'd like to thank you for that, because for years, you're growing up in the scene, you're one person that a lot of people can go to for help and advice.
Thank you for that. 26 years this year, living with HIV.
So when did you get your legendary status? Like at what ball? How did that feel, that moment?
Actually, that was a beautiful moment for me because in a way I kind of was waiting for it. And I was waiting for the right moment, and Jack and Selvin and all of them, did it at an appropriate time. It was at a con ball in D.C., and I thought it was nice how he did it when they called me out for the Grand March and all of that, and I was doing what I always do, carry on.
Do you remember what year that was?
I want to say 2004 or 5. It was a con ball, though, and it was in D.C., and I remember that Dre came and gave me a big hug, Dre Ebony. And it's almost like I was part of now this different group,
The elite club.
Yeah, and that's why being a legend is so special because in a way you do become a part of an elite club. Yeah, so I liked how they did it because all the legends were hugging me and the icons and it was nice. That was a nice moment actually.
Who are one of your favorite people from the past that you wish were still in the scene today, and why?
Naturally, I would say Avis Pendarvis. I think actually all the founding mothers. I wish they were still here. The Peppas, the Avis, the Dorian, Angie, now Paris. I think that if they were here and still being the leaders of the scene, I think the scene would be different because you can't disrespect them, So I think if they spoke up and were a part of the scene, I don't think the scene would be as wild as it sometimes is, So I would say I wish Avis was here just so she could see what I've done. I probably would still be a Pendarvis, actually. I probably would be Father Pendarvis if Avis never, if she never left us. But I remember her death was like really, it really played on me. It fucked with my mind. So it's losing a mother, So
Well, we never get to really see you in situations of being angry or looking sad or going through it. Like anytime we see Luna, you're always smiling and laughing and full of light and joy. How does Luna deal with being upset or angry, and why don't we ever see it?
well, actually, because Avis taught me, see that a mother always teaches you. A mother taught me never let them see you sweat. And so, in a way, I took that literally. I use that every day in my life. People don't often see me upset or anything because my issues aren't your problems, so why should I bring my problems to you? So I always try to be as happy and as friendly as possible because I want people to be able to come to me and love me and always, see this golden smile and just happy all the time. But I really don't. I'm really like this in real life, though. So
So you're good
I'm
at.
not hiding like no secrets.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. Are you good with like hiding your
I'm not
anger?
hiding pain. I'm just happy. I'm a happy person.
Okay, so
Life hasn't been that bad, actually. I'm still here, and that's a blessing on its own. So
who do you live for in the scene? Like, who is your favorite femme queen? Your favorite voguer? Who is your favorite butch queen face?
my favorite butch queen face is still Whitney Mugler Garcon. He's so lovely. There's a batch of new kids that I adore and I love. I love Emery.
Ibisu?
Yeah. Emery Visu, who's my gay son. I adore Exotic Mugler. I think he's absolutely beautiful. Mike Mizrahi now. I think he's still lovely. Time will tell who's the loveliest, right? Because that's how it is.
How about your favorite femme
My
queen?
message to the young kids is like, do it as much as you can because, things change in life. So
Not everybody can keep it for 20 years like
Yeah.
Luna.
Well,
Who's your favorite like femme queen or voguer in the scene?
I still, I mean, I'm kind of old school, so I still love and get excited to see Christina. Christina's my all-time favorite. She always will be my favorite. I think, but I enjoy it all. I know that the scene evolved, and so sometimes I have to accept what they're giving us. So I still enjoy the Leomis and everybody. Like, I think it's beautiful that voguing has become like this huge monster of a category that everybody is a part of. So, yeah.
So, how have you been able to keep this face so lovely after 20 years in the scene? Like, what are your top 3 secrets or advice that you would give people that are trying to have, a sitting butch queen caught up?
I would say, well, Neutrogena does wonders. Um, Sunblock in the summer, and I think just an overall, I think it's was jeans, but it's also who you are. If you're beautiful in the inside, and you stay humble and loving, then I think that's gonna show, and I think that that's what keeps people young. Because if you're, Paris said it, when you're ugly and hard, you just become a brick. When you're negative and all of that, I think it shows. And I think if you're loving and love people the way that I love people, then I think that, it's loving.
It's loving. I love it. All right, so what is something that you've accomplished or what you consider one of your biggest accomplishments in the scene? And besides that, second question, what is something that you've yet to do that you still inspired to do?
I think being a parent in a house or a parent in the ball scene is my biggest accomplishments. I mean, that's what we want, right? We want to be a parent. I would say also becoming legendary because now you're part of an elite club of people, and it's like winning an Oscar. And then I would say what I would like to eventually get is be a part of the Hall of Fame. I mean, we all want to be a part of the Hall of Fame because it sounds hot, and you've paid your dues and you did what you were supposed to. So I'm patiently waiting for all of that so I could retire. Yeah, eventually I'm gonna leave.
Well, you've brought an evolution to the ball. I mean to the ballroom scene altogether. You're now doing the latex ball every year, and you also have created the Luna show. So brings me to my next question: what made you want to become the Oprah of the ballroom scene with starting the Luna show?
That's funny. People say Oprah.
Well, the Luna show is one of the biggest resources in ballroom history and for ballroom knowledge in this day and age.
Well, the reason why I wanted to do the Luna show is because I got tired of people just referencing whenever I say, "Oh, I'm a part of the ballroom scene." Paris is Burning. And we're not the way we were with Paris is Burning. We're not just that. We don't sit and lay around waiting for a ball. to happen. We are people who are professionals. We are teachers and lawyers and stylists and everything. And so I just had the idea to create like this show where it's documented the lives of people that are, active and part of the ball scene. So it's another resource for the world to know what the scene is about. Because I love the ballroom scene. Make no mistakes. I will protect it. And in my eye, I see it in the eyes through the eyes of Avis. And so ballroom is still beautiful to me. In spite of what, some of the stuff that happened in the scene, I still find it a beautiful world. It's like Disney in a way. In my world, in my head, it's a beautiful place, you know.
So Luna, when you're on the panel and you're judging for face, what is some key things that you definitely look for or live for?
The smile. You have to kill me with your smile, and I always I tell them that because they forget when they're like doing all their stuff. They they do all the to make their cheeks higher. They're like selling it and sucking it, and I'm like, just smile, smile. I tell them, smile, because I want to see their smile. I think a smile is like the most beautiful thing in a man, but just a beautiful thing in anybody really. When you have a gorgeous smile, and if you have nice teeth, and it's just refreshing and beautiful. I just like an overall lovely man. So I think that, but the smile is what I want to see. And those who walk in know. I always say, smile, smile. So I do it to the femme queens, the girls, everybody. So.
What is something about Luna that no one in the ballroom scene would really know? Or what's something you can tell us that we don't really know about you?
I would say, I'm not going to get, I would say that I love to eat.
You love to eat?
Sometimes as a parent that I like to eat. Hey, when you get older, you just want to enjoy the things that life offers, right? I eat down. I love food.
Do you like to cook?
I cook. I don't like to cook all the time. I wish I have people in my life that cooked for me often. But I enjoy food, and I enjoy traveling and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't have a big.
No,
I'm usually an open book, so people kind of know enough about me, or not.
So bringing it to my last question, what's next for Luna? Like, what could we be looking forward to that's next?
More Luna shows. About Luna Show 5000. I don't know. There's talks about doing another ballroom movie. So that's actually happening.
Yeah, you were a big part of How Do I Look?
Yeah, well, I sort of assisted. But in this one, I think I'm going to be more hands-on. I think it's going to be a nice project. I don't know. I mean, there's already been movies about the ballroom scene, so what other story can we tell about the ballroom scene? So that's what I'm trying to think right now.
You're trying to think of what Paris is Burning and How Do I Look did not cover.
Yeah, but also what other story can we tell about the ballroom that people already don't know? So that's my job to try to figure out.
All right. Well, thanks, Luna.
Thank you.
For your beautiful interview.
And thank you. Yeah.
We look forward to seeing you out there on the runway and on the panel more.
Yeah, I'll be out there.
All right. See you soon.
Thank you.
It's the Luna Show.